Welcome to another week of Marketing 101 for chiropractors. This week, tech is slowing you down. It's not speeding you up. Coaching you guys has been a lot of fun, always is. It's fun to see you grow and hit milestones and get a ton of new patients and have record months and record weeks and record days. It's so cool. It's cool to be on this side. I've had coaches my whole life. But to be on this side and to implement those same strategies and new strategies and cool strategies, it's really cool. While doing it with you in my practice, it's really neat. But here's something that I've noticed, and I've got people that agree with me on this, and I got people that disagree with me on this. And it's a flip of the coin that technology holds us back. I'm at the point where I now truly believe we use so many apps and technology and things and all the apps and the programs and the softwares that we use. And I'm talking about in our practices. I'm not talking about on your phone, all the apps that you have. I'm talking about in our practices that is actually slowing us down and creating bigger holes in our already leaky bucket. Let me explain. That's what the whole podcast is about. Is that we have so many apps that we start to rely on them. How many of you recently started with the online app guys like ReviewWave, Sked, TrackStat? Just started that. I went 10 years in Canada without it, and I started my practice here without it for the first 2 years. It was pretty much call the office and book your appointment. And we then implemented Sked at first, and really cool features, lots of great stuff. We started to realize that if there was ever a glitch, there was an AT&T thing a couple years ago where AT&T just overnight was like, these are all Sked is spam. And no one with AT&T got text. And literally that next Tuesday, nobody showed up for their appointment. And I was like, this was my fear. This was my fear with technology was, listen, when it doesn't work, it really screws you up. So I'm going to tell you right now, half of the technology you use in your office is holding you back, and you're probably only making 50, 60, 70% of the revenue you could be making by either ditching some of that stuff or taking the time to go through the entire learning curve to learn it as inside out as possible. And unfortunately, as CEOs, entrepreneurs, and service providers, which we're all three, we don't have the time to do that. And our employees don't have the wit to do it. I don't mean anything negative about our employees or your employees. I'm just saying you pay them to do certain things in the office and they have their roles to tell them, hey, learn that. Not very many of us have the people that could do it. Some of us do. And those people are super valuable that can just be like, yeah, I'll learn that. Don't worry. I will be the expert at that. Give me a couple months. That would be super cool. But many of us keep our employees so busy that they don't have the time to do that. So let me explain more about tech and how it's possibly slowing you down. I know some of you listening are like, no way. It's done so much cool stuff for us. But the biggest things when it comes to the technology that we use, and then high level, holy smokes, you guys are all jumping on high level like it's the next big thing. It's such a monster. It's such a robust thing that many of you have yours set up so improperly that your texts are not even getting out properly. They're going into spam. Your emails are going into spam. You haven't softened that and built that credibility with your email lists through high level. You just automatically dived in, built automations or built all these emails and then started sending them. And now you've been flagged. Some of you have been completely like that email address is now completely banned. You're in the spam folders forever. It can get out of control because you didn't go through the learning curve to learn this and set this up properly. So the learning curve is the biggest reason why technology can hold us back is because we don't take the time to understand the new tool that we just implemented or software or whatever it may be. Then there's technical issues and glitches. I'm going to raise my voice here. This stuff drives me nuts. How many times a day do you have to reset a password? How much time are you losing? And it's one thing for me, it infuriates me myself when I have to do it, both personal and business. I think steam comes out of my ears at the office when I see my employees resetting passwords. I'm like, you could be making recalls. You could be printing new patient paperwork. You could be doing something else that's moving the needle forward. Instead, you're resetting a password. Fletcher, if you're listening to this, your CLA and their damn passwords. I have to reset that thing 100 times. But anyways, I love CLA. Don't get me wrong. Go back a couple episodes. We had David Fletcher on our podcast. We love the guy. I'm good friends with him. But that password, information overload. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm well versed in high level. I feel very comfortable with it. Still hate it. It's a monster. It's got so many capabilities, and it's information overload. Because once you go down the rabbit hole with tech has a back end all the way down to the core, like the DNA code. It goes all the way down to there. And for many of us service providers, we're not going to go down to that unless we have a background from college in computer 101, coding, whatever it may be. Many of us do not have computer backgrounds. So to go, and we'll never go that deep. But you need to understand the principles of the technology and where it comes from and how it operates. Like, I want to send text messages to my patients. Great, but you have to be A2P certified and acknowledged in the United States before you can go ahead and send mass texts. Enrico, what does that mean? Well, the podcast is not long enough for that. Distractions and multitasking. You have so many apps that you're crisscrossing across that it's wasting a lot of time. And for many of you CEOs of your business, you may want to look at this and be like, how much time are we really bouncing between tabs, bouncing between windows, bouncing between apps in the office? And how much time are we losing with that? When I go to the front desk, they have 10 to 12 to 20 tabs open on the browser. And I'm like, this is not efficient. It can't possibly be efficient. It's not. So trust me, we're going to wrap up with some good stuff here, but that's the distractions and multitasking. And then the complexity. The complexity of some tech is just, we never do integrate it properly. So that's an issue there. And then by not understanding it, when it glitches in the background, you don't catch the glitch. The texts don't get out. The reminders don't get out. The automatic the paperwork doesn't go out. Paperwork comes back. It's not proper format. It doesn't integrate. So I'm a big fan of integration. So when people ask me, what software do you use? Is it the best software out there? Absolutely not. It's ChiroTouch. That's what I use. Why? Because I've been using it for 16 years. I'm not going to change. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Not going to happen. Are there others out there that could be great? Possibly. The reason why we have it, because the technology that we do bring in has to coordinate with ChiroTouch. That's just me. I'm not going to do anything else. If the business comes out the next big thing that can bring me 100 new patients a month and they don't connect to ChiroTouch, I'm not going to do it. I'll go get my own 100 new patients a month. So that's how we do that. Maintenance and updates. These things slow us down. And this podcast, I should have started it with this, started with me this morning getting logged out of my home computer, which I'm shooting on it right now, of my Windows 11 Microsoft account. I could not get in. So the screen opens up and it says, hit the button below to reset your something happened and you cannot log into your computer. Hit the button below to reset your password. You hit it and it just reloads the screen. And it says the exact same thing. You hit it again, it says nothing happens. You can't do it. So I'm taking out my phone. I'm starting going through YouTube, trying to find the, ladies and gentlemen, 2.5 hours. I missed my coaching call with my coach because of this, I was panicking. I needed to get this done because I thought I'd been hacked. I had Facebook messaged one of IT guys in town that I know. He's like, that's either your Microsoft account was hacked or this other thing. I'm like, oh my word. And I'm going into my Microsoft account, nothing, there was no logins or hacks. So 2.5 hours. I don't know about you, but that cost me probably $1,000 in business. Just with my coaching clients, with my coaching, that definitely cost $1,000. So we fixed it, got it. There was a whole back end C drive login video from India. It worked. The guy knew what he was doing. So maintenance and updates. These things shut you down. We moved to a server in our office. That's a beast. That thing's a beast. Lack of digital skills as well, which most of us fall in that category. And I mean that with love and understanding that we do fall behind with digital skills. The younger dogs graduating right now, you know, they have a leverage on that with Instagram. They can do things so much faster on there. Video clips, reels, they're just fast at doing that with their phones, which is great. That's a talent that will serve them moving forward. But just many of us have a lack of digital skills. And those are the things we need to understand to move forward. Technology is made to make things easier, to make things faster, to make things, but sometimes it's just too much. And so we are running into the issue of just too much tech. There's just too many things that you have in your office, and you have subscriptions to a whole bunch of things. There are softwares out there now in the finance industry, in the banking industry, that will send out your banking statements and tell you, hey, and show you all your subscriptions, where you can just switch off and be like, oh yeah, I don't want Apple TV anymore. I don't want Netflix anymore. I don't want Spotify anymore. I don't want Apple Music anymore. I'm still paying for Apple Music. What the? And they turn it off and they tell you, this is how you're going to save $900 a year, is we're going to turn off your unused subscriptions. So there's that technology. Here's my PSA and what I'm doing this podcast for. It's time for you to turn off your unused subscriptions. Not only are you paying for them, two, you're not utilizing them properly, and they're probably setting you back. So on the digital end stuff. So where do you invest your time? When do you invest your time? How do you invest your time? That's the step moving forward with your technology. Is it all bad? Do you have to burn it all? No. Can you go back to paper files? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad. That's tempting, super tempting. But that's where technology goes with this. So when you're picking the technology that you need, you have to understand what your goals are with this. So a lot of these things like ReviewWave, they were very straightforward with their platform. It was get us to get more reviews. And that's what they do really well. Every time someone comes in for their first appointment, they get a text when they leave saying, how was your service today, on a scale of 1 to 5. And then if they hit 5 stars, boom, your Google link comes up and they can leave a Google review. That's wonderful to hear. Could you take an extra moment and leave us a review on Google so that others can hear about this and come experience the same thing that you experienced at our office as well? And if it was less than a 5, you would get a report back to the office saying this person gave you a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1. And then you could follow up with them, and they'll say, hey, I see that you gave us a 4. And that was it. And then the competitors came out, and now they're starting to do all the online bookings, and they have all the features with them as well. But their premise was never that. It was to build reviews for chiropractors specifically on their website and Google. That was their goal. That was the thing. Then Sked came out and said, hey, we'll do that too, but our goal is patient experience, how to easily book an appointment at a chiropractic office using an app. And they are the best at it. It's very slick what they've created there. And it integrates, which is awesome. And then there's TrackStat. These are the 3 top ones. There's many out there. The 3 top ones that I like. TrackStat is the same thing, but their philosophy is we are going to track all the vital statistics of your practice to the nitty-gritty of visits per day, cost per visit, cost per new patient acquisition, dropped, no-shows, filled paperwork, didn't fill paperwork. The detail is there, and it'll just show up to you every day if you want the stats integrated with your EHR, and it's blown my mind. And then as a secondary, it's like, yeah, we can do the review thing. And as a tertiary, they're like, yeah, we can make online appointments too, which they're working on right now with an app that will probably be not as good as Sked. I'm just being honest. And I'm okay with that, because my fear and my philosophy was that I don't like people being dependent on a text reminder. Yes, it's 2023. Yes, sometimes if I didn't get a text on my phone, I would forget my virtual consult or whatever it may be. So I appreciate that. But also, it's my responsibility as a coach to not miss my call with my clients. So I have other backup technology that I use, like Calendly and Gmail and my Google account, to make sure that I get these that are synced with my phone, and I get reminded in the morning, an hour before, at the event, with their phone numbers and their email, so I can contact them there. So I'm not going to be reliant on a third-party app to screw this up, because oh, by the way, we had a Verizon problem that week. Well, I'm with Verizon and I am no longer with you. So that's the issue there. So filtering what you choose. Some of you have apps that you don't even use anymore. And I hope you finish this podcast and you're like, yep, canceling that one. There you go. I probably saved you $20 a month. Some of them are $300 a month, depending what you're doing. So that's the point with that, is just understanding that when you take on something new, there's a learning curve with it. Be prepared for it, and just understand it. Don't just go to a seminar, talk to a colleague that you missed from school. They use that app. You go back, you buy it, and you're like, holy crap, this is a huge thing, especially with EHRs. Holy smokes. Don't go get convinced that Jane is best for your office and then you go and convert everything from your current EHR to, and it doesn't work. Oh boy. I mean, the loss in that, I want to end I'm going to go throw up. I'm going to end the podcast. Just thinking about that. But you guys, this is all for you. Share, go to the website. And if you could do me a big favor, I'm asking for my first favor on a podcast, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button so that you get these weekly videos that you can listen to any way, shape, or form. You already do such a great job with the podcast, but do that because all this, the video gets shown on is our private Facebook group, which no one really sees. But if you start to build the YouTube channel and we get the subscriptions there, then when I do my reels and stuff, the algorithm improves because more people are watching, or at least subscribe. You don't have to watch. At least you hit that little subscribe button for me, and that would be great. So if you did that, I'd appreciate it. www.youtube.com/Enrico D Marketing, and you'll find my channel. Take care.